Oh my gosh, I forgot to pump. So I have to pump while I'm filming. Multitasking at its finest. We just gonna have to do both. It has been almost exactly 12 months since I've given birth. This time last year, I was having contractions and didn't really realize it. I think at this point during the day, my contractions may have like subsided a little bit and they were going to ramp back up later on in the evening. So it's crazy to think about just how far I've come in the motherhood journey. And I wanted to do a video where I'm reflecting on this journey and just talking about it a little bit more in depth. I also feel like the boobs kind of bring a little bit of humor to the video today. Also, I want to give an honorable mention to my Flexi Rod set. This is 2 weeks old. Mind you, I have gone and played padel. I've not even been like doing my best to keep it at night, and it's still holding on strong. I want to start out by saying that the postpartum journey isn't something that ends, you know, during your 6-week appointment or your 8-week appointment following giving birth. The postpartum journey, I've come to realize, is so much longer than that. I definitely feel at 12 months as if I have still just had a baby. Not physically in terms of like pain and, you know, having the symptoms of just having given birth, but definitely mentally, emotionally, and then physically in the sense that I am still quite tired. I'm still feeling some body aches. I don't have as much stamina as I used to. I have come to realize that grace is a whole different ball game than I was giving myself before. I think I threw around the buzzworthy phrase giving myself grace a lot. And I don't think that I truly tapped into giving myself grace until I had a baby, because in the past I had, you know, I've made mistakes. I have certain shortcomings here and there, but I don't think that ever in my life I have been in a situation where I've gone through such an extensive and intensive surgery that is giving birth. I think people underestimate the fact that giving birth is a major surgery, and it's something that requires a lot more recovery than we think it does. I think my eyes have definitely opened up to mothers a lot more. I see mothers so much more. I identify with other women who are mothers so much more than I did before. I think as I was pregnant and going into this, I was like, I'm still going to be the same baddie, and I am not going to fall off, and I'm not going to make motherhood my entire identity. And I just had so many expectations for myself. And to a degree, I have worked really hard to stay true to that and stay true to myself deep down. I underestimated just how much I would truly change and how my priorities have shifted, how the way that I look at myself has shifted, the way that I see myself and the things that I see for myself have shifted since becoming a mother. And it's just crazy because I think that that shift happened literally in an instant. Like after I pushed him out and I felt the pain of labor and the experience of thrusting this little body out of my body and seeing all of the blood and not being able to really walk very well and being in pain, but still having to figure out how to breastfeed him and how to connect with this little baby that I had just met and who had just met me. I feel like so many things were rewritten and rewired within me. And I'm in the process right now of no longer trying to get it back or get back to who I was, because I think that I spent the first maybe 6 to 8 months trying to get back to who I was. And now I have realized that it's not a matter of getting back to who I am, but instead embracing the woman that I am now becoming and embracing the fact that, yeah, she has glimmers of the person that you were before, but this new woman is definitely Aisha 2.0. I have evolved in a completely different way. And once I allowed myself to move into this new chapter and this new phase, that's when I finally started to feel a little bit more connected to myself and who I am and who I'm becoming as a mother. The most surprising thing is that I identify so much more with motherhood and being a mom than I thought that I would. I still don't feel that it's fair to classify women as just moms because we are so much more than that. But I do identify as a mom and I am a part of the mom community. I definitely want to rewrite the narrative on being a boy mom because it's like, it is so frowned upon apparently these days. Like, but I mean, for good reason, because if you look around at even like the way the world is being run currently, way that men have been enabled, and to a degree, some men being enabled by their moms and mothers who never really, took them to task for anything, I definitely get it. But I definitely am working to raise a son who is emotionally sound and emotionally intelligent, and a son who is also respectful and thoughtful and caring. So, like, those are the things that I really want to do and help and hopefully help to rewrite the narrative on being a boy mom because there are a lot of enabling women there, and there are a lot of women who also look at their sons as replacement husbands. And I feel like that is a problem within itself. Your son is your son and he is a child, and boys are not easier than girls. I also take so much offense, even though I don't have a daughter, to people talking about, oh, these little fast girls trying to get, and I'm like, first off, my child isn't even 1 year old yet. Like, you just turned one and you talking about fast girls is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to worry about, and a lot of little microaggressions and a lot of ways in which people try to push on misogyny. And so I'm really doing my best to hopefully get myself in the mindset to combat that as he gets older. I think the most beautiful part of my motherhood journey is also tied to the hardest part of my motherhood journey, and that was breastfeeding and has been breastfeeding and is breastfeeding. As you can see, given that I'm pumping right now and looking looking crazy with like double D's. I am still breastfeeding. I don't know when I will stop. I'm going to take Shay's lead on that. Unless somehow it becomes a detriment and there's an issue, I'm going to continue to take his lead on it. There are still so many nutrients in breast milk. There's still a lot of bonding that comes from breastfeeding. There's still so many other benefits of breastfeeding. So I'm going to continue to do it. And I've come to realize that it makes other people way more uncomfortable than it does me. A lot more people are concerned about my breastfeeding timeline than I am, which I think is very interesting. I've just been, working hard to not let it get to me and not let anyone else dictate the decision that I've made for myself and my son. And that he's essentially making for himself because Shay, if I pop the boob out right now, Shay's lunging at it. I'm not forcing him into anything. It was definitely a hard journey at first. And I definitely do feel like, given my overall experience, if I had not breastfed him, I would have probably had an easier postpartum experience earlier on. I can't say that for everyone, but for my experience in general, given the fact that I had help from obviously my husband, which shouldn't be help, but my husband was present, and also help from my mom. I think breastfeeding definitely ended up being the most difficult part because it's not something that they could help me with, and it's something that isn't easy to everyone. A lot of people were like, oh, breastfeeding is great, but they didn't talk. And they were like, yeah, it can hurt, but the pain goes away after like 2 weeks and it's fine. But no one talked about like the struggle of trying to get him to latch and what that entails, because not every, like, babies not all babies come out with a perfect latch. And the reason why it's so important to have a good latch is because that's the most efficient way that they're able to receive the milk. And you want to make sure that they're actually getting all of the milk that your body is producing for them. So trying to get him to latch, and then also bearing the pain of latching, because it's not like by breasts are used to somebody, sucking on them like this. So that pain and having to like remedy that pain was really, really, really hard. Also realizing that not every bottle nipple is created equally. So like if I got the wrong type of bottle nipple and he starts taking the bottle, he might not want the breast anymore. And so figuring that out along the way was very interesting. Trying to make sure that I am maintaining my milk supply and pumping so that I can actually leave the house and I'm not tethered to coming home, and only being able to be out for 2 hours because I got to run home and go breastfeed. So there's so many different components that come to breastfeeding, but I will tell you that it's been the most beautiful part of this journey for me because it's something that only I can do. I'm able to like spend time with him. I remember those nights where I was up a few times a night and we were up, it was 1 a.m., 3 a.m. And I am somebody who likes my sleep. Like I am never, unless I'm out turning up, there is no way you will catch me up at 1 a.m. or 3 a.m. So being up with him and those quiet, quiet, dark moments where no one is telling me what to do, watching my every move or making commentary, and it's just literally me and him. Those were like the most beautiful moments because it was something that I could provide him and a way that through everything, I can make sure that he is nourished and alive. And so those were really beautiful bonding moments for me. I'm going to miss it once, we do stop breastfeeding. I don't know whenever that's going to be, but I'm definitely, definitely going to miss it because it has been such an amazing bonding experience. There is absolutely nothing that I have ever experienced that can compare to the beauty and bond that I have felt while breastfeeding. And I'm grateful to be able to because I know that it's not something that everyone's able to do. Speaking of that, let's see how much milk we have here. Okay, good. We still got a little bit of slack. It's not going to spill out just yet. Someone said to me early on that the days are long, but the years are short. And I repeat this quote all the time because it like nothing rings truer than that because the fact that we have reached a year and I'm like, whoa, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it is crazy. Like time really, really flew by. But when you're in the trenches, when you are exhausted and he's getting up several times a night or crying, or you're in the emergency room for something, or whatever it may be, it's long, it's slow, it's hard, it's scary. But at the end of the day, when you get to this point, it's like, oh my God, where did the time go? I get really, really sad. I try not to think about me ever, being without him, but I get sad thinking about the fact that, he's not going to be this teeny tiny forever. And he's not going to be as attached to me forever. And that is what parenting is about. Being a parent isn't about controlling your child. And I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong, where they think that, okay, they're mine, I own them. And, yes, they are your child, but they're not your property. And so I've had to keep that in my mind. So it makes me sad, knowing that he won't be my little itty bitty baby forever. So right now, my goal and what I need to do is be a guide and to be there as someone who is supporting his growth and his trajectory and his journey and his learning and everything. And I am working really hard to, manage myself. I am somebody who has anxiety and depression. And so for me, I've had to be really good about regulating my emotions around him and making sure that when he is crying or he is frustrated, that I'm making sure to maintain that regulation in my emotions and the way that I'm handling situations with him and just the energy that I'm giving off to him. I do worry about him being the same way as myself. That's something that I'm working on. And then in terms of like the controlling things, like I'm really doing my best to allow him to be himself. And it's funny because you're probably like, he's so little. Like, what do you mean? Like, allow him to be himself. Like, Shai has so much personality. He is like the funniest, fun, like wild, loud baby. And we try not to shush him and stop him too much. And like, we're trying to teach him manners and make sure that he's not out here acting a fool. But David is more of that. He's more strict than I am. Overall, I really want his personality to flourish and to shine and not to hold him back from being who he is. And I'm so excited to see his personality continue to develop. And I feel like that, once the breastfeeding journey is over, is going to be the next really, really, really exciting part of motherhood for me. I don't know what this next 12 months has in store. I just know that I am looking forward to all of the growth and progress and seeing him just hit even more milestones. Shai hit so many milestones early. And if it wasn't for his accident, I think he would really be running out here. He started walking at, I think, like the end of 9 months, around 9, 10 months. And before that, he started saying his words early. Like, it's crazy. His first word was book. He started crawling pretty early as well. He has been eating for a while, eating solids for a while. He is, just hitting so many milestones. And I'm like, wow, he's so smart. And that is something that I really value. And I just know that it's just going to continue. And I'm just going to continue to do my best to really nurture him. And I think the fact that he has a multi-generational household that he's growing up in has been really good for him. The fact that my mom is here, she has a different perspective on things in a way that she can treat him and help mold him. And then obviously having his father present and around is going to add another layer to his development that I can't provide him and that my mom can't provide him. I just have like very high hopes for my baby boy. I just know that Shai is a force. I mean, he's a gift. His name means gift. Life has been lifing and life has been tough, but I can honestly say after the first few months, all the difficulty of the beginning of my breastfeeding journey, motherhood has been the least of my worries currently. Life is lifing in many other ways. I'm proud of myself as a new mom. I'm proud of myself for pulling myself out of postpartum depression and the postpartum trenches. And I'm still going through postpartum right now, but not to that degree. And I am just grateful every day for growth and progress and the grace that I've been extending to myself along the way. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for all of your support and your kind words through the beginning of my motherhood journey. Just know that I'm going to continue to share it with you. And let me know in the comments section if you're a mother or if you plan on becoming a mother or if you just have a true affinity and understanding of motherhood. Give me some tips for this next 12 months and tell me about your favorite part of motherhood in the comments section. Thank you so much again for watching. As always, I'm going to finish up this pumping session and put this in the freezer. I really appreciate you watching. I love you. And until next time.